Hi, everybody, and welcome back for another chapter of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj's I Am That. And today we will be looking at chapter 93, Man is Not the Doer. If man is not the doer, who is? Consciousness. God is the doer. Consciousness, which is highly intelligent and creative, which is the life force element that is doing everything. Life is living life. There is no separate individual doer. Oneness is the doer. Oneness, life, this. As long as there is the body and the sense of identity with the body, frustration is inevitable. Only when you know yourself as entirely alien to and different from the body will you find respite from the mixture of fear and craving, inseparable from the I am the body idea. Merely assuaging fears and satisfying desires will not remove this sense of emptiness you are trying to escape from. Only self-knowledge can help you. By self-knowledge, I mean full knowledge of what you are not. Such knowledge is attainable and final. But to the discovery of what you are, there can be no end to the discovery of what you are. There is often debate about that. The more you discover, the more there remains to discover. So life is eternal, it's unending. There will always be more to discover. You cannot change your circumstances, but your attitudes you can change. You need not be attached to the non-essentials. Only the necessary is good. There is peace only in the essential. You cannot see the true unless you are at peace. A quiet mind is essential for right perception, which again is required for self-realization. A quiet mind. Allow the mind to be quiet. How do you do that? An easy way is just to start listening to silence. The more you sit and listen to silence, tune into the silence like a radio dial, and just keep listening to that silence. And it will consume you because it is you. Don't fight the mind. Don't worry about the mind. In fact, kind of, ignore the mind. It's talking. Just tune it out. Don't repress it. Don't fight with it. Just simply listen to the silence, which is always present. And as the mind quiets and the mind clears and perception, clear perception becomes available, not tainted by desires and fears, then the opportunity for self-realization becomes more possible. Now there is awareness and beingness, a sense of presence, a sense of aliveness. I am. So obvious, self-evident. I am. Now, just a little bit of noticing that, awareness is prior to everything. Awareness is the subject, everything else is the object, the content of consciousness, which is changing. Thoughts, feelings, perceptions, sensations, memories, fantasies, imagination about the future. And awareness is like that white screen, always clean, always untouched. So the more you give that focus, the more you tune in to that pure awareness, the more everything else will just simply melt, dissolve, and fall away. Disappear. Let it all disappear so that only emptiness remains. The problem is that we love the entertainment of the mind. We love the entertainment of the mind. And so we give it a lot of focus, a lot of our attention. And if you are interested in just the mind and just that entertainment, the movie, the story, then how and why would you ever then switch and focus back on the pure, empty awareness? Nisargadatta says, don't become bored with peace. Don't take it for granted. If you have peace, if I look around this room right now, nobody else here. It's quiet. All I can hear is the air conditioning, the light hum. But it is a sunny, glorious day. It's quiet. It is peaceful. So this is a perfect opportunity. The conditions are right just to simply be. Nothing to do. Nowhere to go. No one to be. Nothing to achieve. No one to become. This is not about becoming something or changing. What you are, you have always been, and you always will be. It's just about realizing what you are and realizing what you are not, the abstract, conceptual, imaginary pseudo-self. Watching how everything happens by itself. The body is amazing. So many different processes happening, all below, pretty much, mostly below your conscious awareness. The heart is beating, the brain is functioning, the lungs are breathing. I am, and this intelligence, this life, this creativity, these processes are happening all by themselves. Life is alive. Life is living itself without any effort. There's no trying. It's simply happening. It's an amazing organism, machine, whatever you want to call it. It's nothing being everything. It's quite miraculous if you simply just ponder it for a moment. Wow, how does it happen? How does all of this life and growth and expansion happen all by itself? I have so much to do. I just cannot afford to keep my mind quiet. It is because of your illusion that you are the doer. In reality, things are done to you, not by you. It is because of your illusion that you are the doer. I am the doer. In reality, things are done to you, not by you. If I just let things happen, how can I be sure that they will happen my way? How can I control life? That's what we all want to do. The ego wants to control life. It wants a lot of pleasure and it wants very little or no pain. I want my desires. I don't want my fears. How can I control this, everything? That's what the ego wants to know. How can I be sure things will happen my way? Surely I must bend them to my desire. I must bend them. I must control them. I must manipulate life. I cannot trust that life will give me what I want if I do absolutely nothing. Your desire just happens to you along with its fulfillment or non-fulfillment. You can change neither. You may believe that you exert yourself, strive, struggle. Again, it all merely happens, including the fruits of the work, the cause and the effect. Nothing is by you and for you. All is in the picture, exposed on the cinema screen. Nothing in the light, including what you take yourself to be, the person, the ego, the false self. You are the light only. So we have the blank screen, we have the movie, the images, but you are the light of awareness. Awareness is prior. Without awareness, how would you know that anything in the universe exists? Awareness must be there first. Beingness must be there first. You must be there first. I am aware. I am aware. I'm aware of so many things. Awareness is aware. The light of awareness is. If I am light only, how did I come to forget it? You have not forgotten. It is in the picture on the screen that you forget and then remember. You never cease to be a man because you dream to be a tiger. Similarly, you are pure light appearing as a picture on the screen and also becoming one with it. Very good. So you are what you are. Always, you are the Parabrahman. You are the absolute supreme reality. Even if you are 100% convinced that you are the body or that you are the mind. This is the dream. As Tony Parsons calls it, the dreamer is dreaming separation. Dreaming being a person, a separate self. But it's only a dream. And that's why they talk about spiritual awakening. It's not that the person wakes up. You wake up from the person. You wake up out of the dream of being a person. Just like when you're asleep, you can't see my bed there, but just like when you're asleep, you dream all kinds of things. I'm a king. I'm a beggar. I'm a tiger. I'm a dolphin. And then when you wake up, you realize it was only a dream. You were never any of those things. But in the dream, it seems pretty darn real. So right now, it seems pretty real. Here's the body. Here I am. I must be a person. But one day, inevitably, for sure, you will wake up and realize, I'm not the body. I'm not the mind. Many people have spoken about the ego just dissolving, disappearing. And what remains? The Parabrahman, pure consciousness, pure awareness, without a self. Nothing appearing as everything. The absolute appearing as the relative. Only you can discover what happens or what remains when the ego disappears. Not you, the person, not you, the ego, but that which is prior to that. Remember, the ego came after the fact. When you were born, you were not born a person or an ego. This process, the brain starts forming this false self maybe around 1.5 or 2. Prior to that, you were just pure being. You are still pure being. But now you are believing the story that the mind, the brain, is telling, concocting. But one day it will just be very obvious. You won't be able to find yourself. Where is that person? Where is that sense of constriction? The energy doesn't feel constricted anymore. It's a total expanse. There's no center anymore. There's no self. There's no entity. There's only freedom, liberation, love, space. What happens when you clear out this entire room? What remains? Space. Empty, pure space. Love, unconditional love. Divine, ecstatic love. Pure intelligence, pure potentiality, pure wisdom, pure grace. Since all happens, why should I worry? Exactly, says Nisargadatta. This is my point. Why do we worry? Because we believe the story is happening in the mind. Freedom is freedom from worry. Remember, the me is all about self-concern. It wants to continue. It wants to live, of course. Poor thing. Having realized that you cannot influence the results, pay no attention to your desires and fears. Desires, fears, pay no attention. Let them come. Don't repress them. Don't fight them. Let them come. Watch them, see them, be honest. Wow, I have a desire for this. Okay. Oh, I'm really afraid of this. Let them come. Don't give them the nourishment of interest and attention. Embrace them, to let them go. Be aware of them. Let them come into conscious awareness. But don't become overly fascinated with them, or be overly fascinated with them. You are free to do whatever you want, but don't get stuck. A lot of these things have like Velcro. And then we start ruminating and obsessing, and before you know it, we are lost in the story. We have lost ourselves in the story that the brain, the mind is creating and producing. So stop. Just stop. Notice the space. Notice the silence, the stillness. It doesn't take any effort, does it, to notice what is? What is? Is there any effort? Are you straining? No. It's relaxed, awake, aware, alive. Thoughts, feelings, 5 senses, perceptions, consciousness, awareness, aliveness, presence. If I turn my attention from what happens, what am I to live by? Again, it is like asking, what shall I do if I stop dreaming? Stop first and see. Try it out. Try it out. Experiment. Stop dreaming. You need not be anxious. What next? What next? There is always the next. Life does not begin nor end. Immovable, it moves. Momentary, it lasts. Light cannot be exhausted, even if innumerable pictures are projected by it. Light is eternal, strong, powerful, like the sun. So does life fill every shape to the brim and return to its source when the shape breaks down. So life fills up this physical body. They live for however long they live, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years. And then when The building, when the physical body breaks down, that life remains, returns to its source, but of course it's never really left its source. If life is so wonderful, how could ignorance happen? You want to treat the disease without having seen the patient. Before you ask about ignorance, why don't you inquire first, who is the ignorant? Who is ignorant? It's only the person, the ego, the false self, which is ignorant. But what you are is not ignorant. When you say you are ignorant, you do not know that you have imposed the concept of ignorance over the actual state of your thoughts and feelings. Examine them as they occur. Give them your full attention. And you will find that there is nothing like ignorance, only inattention. So give attention, give awareness, give consciousness to what worries you. That is all. Look at your fears. Talk about your fears. Discuss your fears. Don't be consumed by them. Don't be lived by your fears. Bring them into conscious reality. Okay. Question your thoughts and your fears and watch them dissolve and disappear. After all, worry is mental pain, and pain is invariably a call for attention. If you cut your arm, that pain is saying, help, help, we need something, Band-Aids, we need to be washed, we need whatever it is that you need, or a pain in the head, or a pain in the something else. So pain is calling for attention. It's calling for love. Pain is calling for love. Now, if we look out into the world with this known, that pain is calling for love, look at all the suffering in the world. It's calling for love. It's calling for the love of God. It's calling for the love of neighbor. And it's calling for the love of self. So wherever you have pain in your life, give it love, give it attention, give it compassion. Love yourself. Be kind to yourself. Be compassionate with yourself. Take it easy. Have mercy. Embrace yourself as if you were your only child. The moment you give attention, the call for it ceases, dissolves. Instead of waiting for an answer to your question, find out who is asking the question and what makes him ask it. The person, the ego. You will soon find that it is the mind, goaded by fear of pain, that asks the question. I don't want fear. How can I control life? Simple. And in fear, there is memory and anticipation. Memory of the past. I was hurt once before in the past. I don't want it to happen again. And anticipation of the future. I'm anticipating I could be hurt, or I'm anticipating or hoping for pleasure and not to be hurt in the future. So past, future, past, future. Attention brings you back to the present, the now. And the presence in the now is a state ever at hand, but rarely noticed. Isn't that ironic? Crazy that the presence of here and now is always here and now. And yet, most of us don't live here and now. Where do we live? In the mind, in memories of the past and hopes, dreams, anticipations for the future. What happened yesterday? What will happen tomorrow? What about what is happening now? What is aware now? What is alive now? What is awake now? People want God. Where do you think God is? God is here and now. But again, it's like tuning in the radio station. God is here, but if you're not tuned into God here, then yeah, okay, you might have the experience of not feeling that presence of God. Of course, God at some level is a concept. What do we actually mean when we say God? I don't feel God. Are we saying I don't feel love? I don't feel bliss? Many of us think if you feel God, then you're going to be in some state of bliss. So, what do you feel? Let's start with right now. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What is your experience of this moment? Are you happy, sad, angry, afraid? Become aware of this present moment, inside and outside. Awareness of this moment, awareness of this awareness, awareness of the aliveness. I'm alive. Awareness of this presence of being. I am. Awareness of consciousness. Awareness of intelligence, of wisdom, of love, of gratitude, of mercy. Awareness of silence and stillness. Attention brings you back to the present, the now, and the presence in the now is a state ever at hand. The presence in the now. Do you feel this presence of being? Are you alive? Do you exist? Are you aware? Then stay there. Stay with this awareness and stay as the awareness because you are. You are awareness, beingness, consciousness. You are presence, aliveness, intelligence, creativity, love. You are love. You are love. Inhale and exhale. I am that I am. Prior to the words I am, I am. And if you want to pray, I don't speak much about prayer. I don't know that Nisargadatta ever did as well, but pray. Ask and you shall receive. God, I want to feel you. I want to experience you. I want to be you, God, not the the God that people are afraid to become, like, I am in charge, I am in control. No, it's the humble God, the loving God, the merciful God, the aspect of divinity, the connection with the divine, with the beloved. If you truly surrender to God, don't think that you're going to be in charge of everybody and have all this power and control. No, I don't think so. I believe you will become more and more humble, like dirt, like water, pure, empty of any ego or self-concern. You will become a servant, loving and serving and helping and being present for others and for yourself, because you are one of the members of humanity. So to merge with God, to merge with the beloved, is to become love, to empty yourself of all ego. Again, don't look at ego like it's a poison, even though some people call it that way. But the more you, the more you fear the ego, the more power you give it. So just see what the ego is. Nothing. It's actually nothing. In fact, try to find the ego. That's the whole point. Can you find a separate self inside? No. All you can find are thoughts, images, visions. You can sense a contracted energy, but you can't find a center, a self, because there is no self. So be okay with that. Don't be afraid of that emptiness and that no self existence. It's actually a great relief to realize, oh, I'm not a person, because it takes a lot of energy and a lot of fear, actually, to keep that self-image going. I am a person, I am this, and I am that. And don't see this part of me, only see this part of me. And, I want you to perceive me the way I want to be perceived. It's a lot of effort. And it's all false. So you're spending all of this effort trying to maintain this false image, false self. Have mercy on yourself. Let that false self just crumble, dissolve, disappear, and allow your radiant energy. If you want real power, allow that radiant self, the intelligent, creative self, to emerge forth. Surrender to God, if you want to put it that way. Not my will, but thy will be done unto and through me. God, think through me, feel through me, act through me, love through me. Empty me of me so that I cannot find myself. This is a good not finding. It's a good not finding. Like, oh, there is no person inside. There's no entity. There's only space, love, intelligence, divinity, consciousness, beauty, truth, emptiness, compassion. Look for yourself. Discover for yourself. Realize for yourself what is. Now, here and now. The doorway is here and now. What is? The gurus usually teach the sadhanas, spiritual practices by which they themselves have reached their goal, whatever their goal may be. This is but natural. For their own sadhana, they know intimately. I was taught to give attention to the sense of I am, the sense of I am, not just a thought, but that sense of beingness, that sense of presence. And I found it supremely effective. Therefore, I can speak of it with full confidence because I know it worked. But often people come with their bodies, brains, and minds so mishandled, so perverted and weak, that the state of formless attention is beyond them. In such cases, some simpler token of earnestness is appropriate. The repetition of a mantra, Om Namah Shivaya Gurave, or gazing at a picture of a beloved, of a saint, of a sage, of a holy person, will prepare their body and mind for a deeper and more direct search. After all, it is earnestness that is indispensable, the crucial factor. Sadhana is only a vessel, and it must be filled to the brim with earnestness, which is but love in action. For nothing can be done without love. We love only ourselves. Were it so, it would be splendid. Love yourself wisely, and you will reach the summit of perfection. Everybody loves his body, but few love their real being. So love your awareness. Love your consciousness. Love your beingness, your aliveness, your intelligence, your creativity. Love everything, because everything is lovable. Everything is created out of love. Everything was created for the purpose of love. And this is another reason why we suffer, because we don't live love. We refuse love. We're afraid of love. We're afraid to feel vulnerable. And we suffer as a result. I will live in my head. I will live in my mind. I will live in my conceptual world of concepts and thoughts, and I will be in a prison. I can't do that. No. This is me. This is my self-image. Oh, that looks like fun. No. I would never do that. You see, we miss out on so much because we are afraid of what people think of us. We are afraid of a thought that we can't even think. It's their thought. We're not even aware of their thought. But maybe we see it in their face. They look at us like, oh, how dare you? I can't believe you're doing this. Or maybe they say something like, you idiot. I don't know. Just an example. But many people are so afraid of what other people think of them. And so what do? They allow fear to rule their lives. And that's sad. That's horribly sad, because you are missing out on something so wonderful and special, which is you, your life, your experience of life, your experience of yourself, your experience of consciousness, your experience of the beloved. So love yourself wisely. Love yourself doesn't mean spoil yourself, give yourself everything you want, create this comfort circle, this prison, and just watch TV or movies, whatever it is. Balance and moderation in all things. Balance and moderation in all things. Yes, treat yourself, give yourself nice things, but don't overdo it. Be wise, which means eat well, exercise. Every morning I go running, I do yoga, I meditate, I try to have juice throughout the week. I try to mostly eat vegetarian, a little bit of fish now and then, but I try to live a healthy life, because that is loving yourself wisely. So the more you love yourself wisely, the more then you can also love your friends and family and neighbors wisely and compassionately. And before you know it, it will spread and spread and spread and expand until all of us wake up and realize the oneness which is inherent, the oneness of reality, the substratum of all that exists. Love your neighbor as yourself. This is what Jesus said. Neem Karoli Baba, love all, serve all, feed all. It's so simple. It's interesting. Makes you curious. Why don't we do it? Why don't we live love when it's so satisfying and fulfilling? Is it just because of fear? Or would we rather have pleasure, sense gratification instead of love? Or maybe we've just, we've grown so far away from love that we don't know how to love and we don't know how to receive love. Maybe love makes us uncomfortable. I mean, love can be intimate in that sense. You are looking at another human being and saying, beloved, we are one. I sense the same namaste. The light in me recognizes the light in you. Now, how can I reduce your suffering? How can I love you? How can I be kind to you? How can I help you and support you? Can I just be here for you? Can I listen to you? What can I do? Truth and love, truth and love, peace and love, honesty and love. Okay, thank you, Nisargadatta Maharaj, and thank you, everybody. We'll see you again for another chapter of I Am That.